Good afternoon, and welcome back to Nick Can't Game or Can He, my video game channel. It's wonderful to see you all again today. I appreciate this time that you spend with me, and I hope that we'll all get to have some fun today. Um, so, I meant to do this yesterday, but I was just kind of too exhausted to really get much of anything done. So, so we're doing it today, basically, is what it is. Uh, I am, like I said, very happy to be spending this time with you. I'm still a little off today, uh, physically tired and all that stuff. So today we're going back into the pro wrestling sim game, and what's special about today's game is that we've got quite a few new people uh, who are just becoming available to debut for our WCW revival. And we're going to be working them into the stories going forward, and hopefully they'll take us even further in our growth goals. So with that being said, let's flip over to the game and let's have some fun. As you can see, we are on the 7th of July in-game date. We are going to be doing 2 weeks worth of shows in this episode. We're going to be doing the Nitro and Thunder for the week of the 7th, and then again for the week of the 14th. And starting with the next episode, we'll have our next PLE, Premium Live Event, pay-per-view, however you want to call it, Bash at the Beach. So let's dig into the Nitro. All booked out here and ready for our debuting wrestlers to make their names known. So we start the show. Our opening show intro, as the pyro goes off, video review of the main wrestlers and showing some who are going to be debuting this week. Former AEW Women's Champion Mariah, wrestling legend Samoa Joe, and former AEW Men's World Champion Hangman Adam Page. And everyone gains in popularity from the promo, 98% segment score. Next, we have our commissioner, our general manager, Bill Goldberg, coming to the ring to announce the big new signing of Hangman Adam Page, former AEW champion. And when he gets to the ring, he's being interviewed by Nikki Garcia, and Hangman makes his entrance and comes down to the ring, and he starts cutting his promo. I've been champion before, I've bled for it, and now he's here to burn, for his star to burn even brighter. And he's interrupted by WCW, someone who's been here from the beginning of our revival series, EC3, who calls him a fraud and an outsider, and it ends with the two of them staring each other down, and we get an 81% segment score on the segment. And then we go to our first match of the night, which is Liv Morgan, who just became available to us recently after we signed her a couple episodes ago. And she's having her first actual match for us. And it's against Bobby Tyler. And they're both got some momentum behind them. Their skills are adding to the match. The crowd was there, 84% crowd reaction, 1.5 star match, 76% total score. Next we have Mercedes Bernardo challenging Becky Lynch to a rematch for the title after their match at the previous, the Great American Bash, the previous pay-per-view, premium live event. And it ends with a stare down. Mercedes in her promo says Becky knows the clock's ticking, and at the bash her time is going to run out. And Becky walks into frame holding the title belt high in her hand, and we're confirming that this rematch is happening at the bash. Next we have one of our debuts coming to us from WWE NXT brand. Lash Legend arrives at the arena in a limousine, and she steps out of the limo with a big professional wrestler, big time attitude, and the commentary team, wants to know how well she's going to do, and if she's going to back up the flash of arriving in the limo. And next up, coming to the ring, is wrestling legend Samoa Joe, who has held championships in 3 different companies in real life, TNA, WWE, and AEW. And he comes out to the ring, a microphone in hand, and he says, I'm here to rewrite the endings, and I'm starting by taking Konosuke Takeshida's United States Championship away from him. And Konosuke steps up onto the stage and stares silently into the ring at Samoa Joe. They have a little stare down. And that gets a segment score of 72%. We go to commercial, and it's a commercial for the latest round of action figures, including action figures from some of our stars who are debuting this week, some who are established, and the advertisement gets an 86% segment score. Next we have Brandy Lauren and Sari of the Divine Desire stable taking on Rosemary and Tennille Dashwood, and having a 3-star level match. The crowd enjoyed the entrances. They got special entrances. The crowd enjoyed those. People are riding away from momentum. Rosemary gets the win over Sari after Isla Dawn tries to interfere on behalf of her partners in the stable, and Kairi Sane comes out to chase her away. Afterwards, Brandy challenges Kairi to a match, and we're probably going to see that in the next couple of weeks. Next up, Becky Lynch is backstage cutting a promo about Mercedes and their upcoming match at Bash at the Beach, and is really getting into things when major news signing Mariah May, the former AEW Women's Champ, steps into view and starts saying, challenging Becky, saying, it doesn't matter who wins at the Bash. Come next month, your time is up, and that title will be mine. And commentary agrees that she's a threat to the title based on her previous work and her reputation, and this gets a 95% segment score. We go back out to the ring where Simon Miller and CJ Perry are having a bit of a promo battle regarding their television championship match that will be taking place at the Bash. CJ says, you're clinging to hope, I'm clinging to destiny. And Simon says, destiny's earned, not branded. And this is their going to be the final in-ring confrontation before their match. And then we have commentary, a video being shown about the stars of the company, and a couple of our commentators talking about the stars, talking about the company, and this gets a 100% segment score. Then we go to commercial break for the latest round of t-shirts. New t-shirts for each of the members of the Divine Desire stable. Popularity gain for all of them, and an 88% segment score. Next we have the big match, first big match between Alice Kane and Moose, and it's only a 1-star match. The crowd was into it decently. 63% overall match score. After the match, Moose attacks Alex while he's trying to leave the ring, and beats him down and leaves him laying there. I don't think we have any. No, we don't have any real changes scheduled, and that segment gets an 81%. We cut to the back where Nikki Garcia is interviewing TJP about his upcoming Cruiserweight Championship match at Bash at the Beach against champion Malachi Black. And TJ says he's earned that spot, and now he earns his revenge for all those times that Malachi attacked him during the tournament, and that gets the 69% segment score. We have a upcoming debut of a wrestling legend from Japan, a legend of women's wrestling, Mayu Iwatani, and the video shows clips of her matches from Japan, and the voiceover says that the Storm lands in WCW on July 14th. Next we have a hype segment for the upcoming PLE. We have our two of our announced team, Matt Striker and Alyssa Marino, previewing the show and some of the matches that will occur on the show. And that gets a 68% segment score. And then we go to the main event, which is World Champion Joe Hendry teaming up with United States Champion Konosuke Takeshita to take on Nick and Ryan Nemeth. And the crowd was absolutely there for the match, completely there, 100% behind what was going on in the ring. 3-star match, 95% overall score. Nick Nemeth got the pin after his brother got a cheap shot in on the Joe Hendry, and after the match, they stare each other down. Nick and Joe, because they're in that world title match at the Bash, and yeah, they're just staring at each other after the match, and we end the show. And I think that is our best Nitro rating yet, 88% overall, gaining in popularity across the world. And let's see what the next day brings in our inbox. Okay. Okay. One of the members of our Poly Queen stable wants to be pushed further up the card. She'd like that to happen before October. I think we can do that. Absolutely. We have promised Nick Nemeth that we'd have him in a main event match, and that succeeded, so that improves his morale. We sold 12,521 tickets and got $674,000 in sales, and that's after our gate share clause. And we made our standard $388,000 in income from our deal with Amazon Prime. Let's see what's going on in the news. Ring of Honor is forced to make tough decisions as financial constraints have forced them to release several wrestlers and staff members. The community is left in shock as familiar faces depart the company. That's very interesting. So we have John Hennigan, who was known in WWE as John Morrison. He's now available. Great star power. Stamina and entertainment ability. We should probably try to snap him up after we see who else is available. Taylor, Matt Taven, Stokely Hathaway, Dalton Castle, Alex Reynolds. There are a lot of names, most of them I don't really recognize. I'm not too familiar with Ring of Honor. Wow, that is a lot of people who are, wow. Okay, let's see if we can hire the former John Morrison. That's... Oh, it's doing this to me again. Okay, let me pause recording while I try to get this. Okay, so we've got it partially working. Enough that I'm able to put the offer in. He will consider and be in contact in the next couple days. I'm still waiting to see if that bug on this gets fixed. But yeah, he's the only one I really recognize from Ring of Honor, so he's the only one I'm going to put in a bid on. Yeah, let's see. So we proceed to the next day. Who is this? Okay. What is in our mail? Okay, nothing big on the news. So we'll go on to Thursday and our Thunder show. He was offered a contract by WWE. It doesn't say whether he's accepted that or not. No, he did. He signed with WWE instead of us. Okay. They haven't used him all that great to begin with, but... Is there anybody... So Juventud Guerrera, who was in WCW in the late 90s, is having trouble at his current company with the creative direction. And it looks like he completely left them. Okay, we have someone leaving AEW. Nah, he doesn't seem like the type of person that will fit in here, so we won't try to hire him. We will go to our Thunder show, pre-booked, and get it started. We have our opening pyro and video showing the stars of our company, and you know, some of them who are going to be appearing soon. So we have Raven coming out to the ring. He's a legend from ECW and WCW and WWE from the late 90s. And he is now the manager for Lash Legend. And he comes out, introduces himself as being the one to handle her from now on, and he's in this role because he's a good teacher, and working with him should help her improve as a wrestler. That's the backstage reason, but in character, he is basically, she's supposed to be his reckoning against the lighter aspects of the world, because he was a fairly dark character in his day. So yeah, they're working together from now on. Next up is a match with TJP and Matt Cardona taking on the people who were known in WWE as the Authors of Pain. Just a match to get the crowd started and into the show. Yeah, didn't do great. It was a 2.5 star match, 65% overall. Matt Cardona gets pinned when he comes after he comes in and tries to save TJP from a beating, and Sonny gets the pin on him, and after the match they start snapping at each other, a bit of a hint that there might be some trouble between them. And then we have Shane McMahon interviewing Samoa Joe and talking about his challenge for Konosuke's United States Championship. And Samoa Joe says, Takeshita hasn't seen violence yet, no matter what he thinks he may have seen in his career, because he's never faced him, and that he's not chasing a belt. He's dragging his legacy as one of the greatest wrestlers of all time through Takeshita's soul, and this sort of sets the intensity for their upcoming title match at Bash at the Beach. And then Lash Legend comes out to face local talent Ella Envy and pretty much squashes her. Raven sits down in commentary during the match and talks cryptically about Lash being the echo of reckoning, and after the match they have to take Ella out on a stretcher. The crowd wasn't that into it. We're going to have more interviews and promo segments with her to get the crowd interested. We go to commercial break for the latest round of action figures. And the commercial gets a 91% rating. So we'll sell some toys off of this. Adam Page gets in the ring, talking about how frustrated he was that his debut on Monday got interrupted by EC3. 84% for that. And lo and behold, EC3 comes out and interrupts him again. And, this time he interrupts him from a video in the back that appears on the Titantron. And, he's contrasting himself to Adam Page. He's in a suit and tie and tailored clothes. And Page challenges him to a match. And we're going to see that happen real soon. And that gets a 100% segment score. Next, Mayu makes her debut uh, up against Tennille Dashwood, and 2.5 star match. The crowd wasn't really into it yet, which is kind of disappointing. But it did get a 51% overall match score. Next, Mariah May is being interviewed in the back by Nikki Garcia, and she's talking about basically throwing her hat into the ring as a contender for the women's championship and throwing shade on both of the other challengers, Mercedes and Britt Baker. And as the camera pans away, we see Becky, the champion, standing out to the side, giving a little smirk and saying, yeah, she's got guts. And that sort of sets Mariah into the mix for the women's championship. And we go to a commercial break. A commercial for the Bash at the Beach. To see if we can get more people to tune. To tune in. And that commercial gets a 100% rating. And we go to the match, the main event. Joe Hendry is defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Kenta. It's a 3.5 star match. 85% crowd reaction, 84% overall match score. The match report is stiff strikes, technical counters, and a real war. And Henry picks up the win. After the match, he offers to shake Kenta's hand, but Kenta swats his hand away, turns around and walks away from the ring, and that gets an 84% overall. And that's our Thunder Still. Kind of a dip in show rating, down to 77%. But we gain in popularity across the world, so that's good. So we go to the next day and see what's in our mail. We had $824,000 in ticket sales. 13,392 people showed up. And that is after the gate share clause. And we made our standard $363,000 from Amazon Prime. Okay. Check the news. Okay. Backstage tension between two people. I'm not sure who they are, what company they work for. Okay, I don't. Okay, that's a very small company, and I don't know either of those people. No other big news. So let's go on to the rest of the weekend. anybody I recognize that I might want to hire? Anybody that I recognize? No. Okay, and nothing in our mail. Let's see. Anything? Okay. Bryan Danielson won the AEW World Championship. Good for him. Man, his health is still... Heck of a wrestler, heck of a performer, but should he still be wrestling with all his concussions and neck and body injuries? Okay. Is there anybody getting released that I might be interested? Okay, WWE has Saturday Night Main Event. Alright, what's in our mail? Raj Desi wants to work with El Tejano Jr. before the 13th of August. We can make that happen. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And let's go ahead to Monday for our next Nitro. Okay. Anybody coming free that might be worth hiring? Anybody coming free? No. Okay. Let's check our mail. Promotional report. We are being seen as definitively better than New Japan. Kind of a shock, but we'll take it. WWE is seen as definitively better than us, which not a surprise, really not. We are a big winner over AEW. 6 categories to 2, and that's a good thing for us. So we are seen as definitively better against 2 major companies, and the only one who's really beating us is WWE, which is to be expected. They've had, 40 some years to get good at this thing. So now we go to tonight's show, which is Monday Nitro. coming live from the Spokane Arena in Washington with an expected attendance of over 13,600. We start the show. We welcome the fans to the show with pyro and a video package about several of the main stars of our company, which gets a 100% segment score. Next, Hangman Page makes his way down to the ring. He starts cutting a promo on EC3. EC3 comes out with his own microphone and has a few choice words to say to him. Adam says, "I'm no outsider, I'm the answer to what this company forgot it should be." EC3 calls Page a washed-up rodeo cosplayer, and then they start fighting. They engage in a big brawl, and the backstage staff, the referees, some of the people working for the company have to come in and pull them apart. And afterwards, Bill Goldberg says he's decided to make a match. At the end of the night, Hangman Adam Page will be teaming up with World Champion Joe Hendry against EC3 and Nick Nemeth. And that segment gets an 80% overall score. And then we go backstage, where there's a confrontation between three of the women in the women's title scene, two challengers and a champion. It starts with Mariah May confronting Mercedes Varnado and telling her, if you beat Becky, you'll hold the gold. But as the new biggest star in the company, I already hold the power. And Becky walks in while they're verbally going at each other and says, "Try holding relevance, sweetheart." And things get really tense with them, but nothing physical breaks out just yet. And that's a 96% segment score. Next we have another match. Lash Legend accompanied by Raven taking on TNA legend Angelina Love and getting a quick victory over her. And we're still trying to get the crowd reactions up. It was only a half a star match, 45% overall score. The trio of the Divine Designers get a big match against Serpentine Splendor and their partner Ella Envy, a 6-woman tag team match, and it was a 3-star match quality, 65% overall. And after the match, they continue beating down their opponent until some of the women that they've beaten down for several weeks prior to this rush into the ring to chase them off. And that would be Britt Baker, Rosemary, and Bobby Tyler. And there's a hint that something big may be happening with those three later. We go to commercial break. Latest round of t-shirt releases. Hangman Adam Page, Konosuke Takeshita, our U.S. champion, and Samoa Joe. And an 87% overall for the advertisement. First, you have the former women's tag team champions, Beautiful Disasters, coming out to the ring, and they walk to the ring with a lot of confidence in their step. They grab their mic and they call out the current tag team champions, and they want their rematch, and yeah, they let them know this isn't over, and the match is made for Bash at the Beach. Next, backstage, we cut to what is basically a summit meeting between three of the women who have been being attacked by the new stable of the Divine Desires recently. Britt Baker, Rosemary, and Bobby Tyler. And at the end of it, they agree to start watching each other's backs. No more isolated targets, Bobby says. We unify now. And they're going to be challenging the stable, the Divine Desires, to a 6-woman tag team match at the Bash. We'll see if that match happens. Next, to Neil Dashwood, who had a match against Mayu where she was beaten up after the match, comes out to the announce table and joins the announce team for the upcoming match between Mayu and Santana Garrett. And she comes out, she grabs a set of headphones, she starts talking with the commentary team, and in the meantime, the two wrestlers make their entrance, and this segment gets an 80%. The crowd is still not really there for the match, but it's a 2.5-star match and a 50% overall match rating. Mayu picks up the win. Next we have a promo with the Top Flight Sable, AJ Francis, Alex Kane, Cedric Alexander, Leo Rush, and Myron Reed. And AJ Francis says, at the Bash, we're going to finish what started between us and the Dead Man's Hand. It's going to be a finish in smoke and steel. And we got a video from the parking lot where Cain Velasquez of the Dead Man's Hand has a microphone and says, you better bring the war because we're bringing hell. And we are confirmed at Bash at the Beach is going to be a War Games match, 5-on-5, to end this feud once and for all, the Dead Man's Hand against Top Flight. This is an 82% overall segment score. We cut to the backstage. Matt and Jeff Hardy are in Goldberg's office talking to him about an upcoming match at the Bash with the New Legacy, Davey Boy Smith and Ted DiBiase Jr. When the New Legacy invade the office and a brawl breaks out between the four of them, and this is a brawl that ends up destroying the office. We go back to the ring. Bobby Tyler and Natsu Sumayer finish off their little mini feud that they had when Bobby came into the company. Bobby gets the win over Natsu, and she can now concentrate wholly on her team up with Britt Baker and Rosemary against the Divine Desires. The crowd wasn't really there for the match, but it was a 2-star match, 53% overall score. And after Bobby offers Natsu her hand, but Natsu refuses. and turns around and walks away. Uh, that's a 77% score. And then Bill Goldberg lets everybody know that the match between Hangman Page and EC3 is absolutely 100% happening at Bash at the Beach. We do a big advertising for the Bash, a big video focusing on pretty much everyone and all the feuds that are going to be happening there, and that gets a 100% segment score for that video. Next we have our main event, Hendry and Page against Nick Nemeth and EC3. EC3 uses the ropes to get a leverage pin on Hangman Adam Page. It's a 2-star quality match, but the crowd was into it 100% and 91% score overall. And after the match, some verbal sparring and some shoving between the challenger and the champion. And we go to, we fade to black on that image. 86% score for that segment. And we pick up, we get a not as high of a match show rating as last time, but that's not bad. 83%. Still gaining in popularity. We end the show and go on to the next day. Okay, let's check our mail. We sold 14,000 tickets, more than we were expecting to. 774,000 in ticket sales, and that's after the gate share clause. Our highest viewership yet, 2,625,941 viewers, and 388,000 our usual amount in income. Let's see, is anybody coming up for renewal? Who is this? That name sounds familiar. Is she a... but the skills aren't there for us to pick her up, and neither is the star power. Okay. And one of our wrestlers, Sari, has decided to fully move to the U.S. now that she's with our company, and she's I mean, you look at her score, she's improving in every way. And yeah, so she's in the States permanently now. Okay. So, evening passes and morning comes the next day. Nothing new in the mail. Is anybody coming free that we might be interested in hiring? I don't see anything. So we go on to our next show, the last show of this episode. WCW Thunder. Okay. And we managed to hire away from WWE. He is now a member of our staff. Welcome to WCW, The Undertaker. He's going to be mainly an on-screen personality, someone for people to pick the brains of and talk about and learn from. And that's the part that's in our mail. So he will make his on-screen debut at the upcoming PLE Bash at the Beach. But yes, we have The Undertaker. He's working for us now. And we start... Can I speak? Can I speak? We start tonight's show. The standard show intro. Focusing on several of the people we are going to see tonight. Goldberg makes his way into the ring. He says, he says, this Saturday is the reckoning, but tonight we learn who walks to the beach ready and who gets swept away. And he talks about two of the big matches that are taking place at the Bash. Champion versus the Challenger, and Hangman versus EC3. And Hangman comes out to the ring, and he has a microphone in his hand, and he says, thanks for the match, EC3's all talk, Bash is where I break him, and the segment ends with a cutaway to EC3 in the back, with a smirk on his face, refusing to come out to the ring to make his response. And that gets a 74% overall score. We go back to the ring, and Mayu Iwatani has another match, this time against Vipress. 2.5-star match quality, 52%. So she's sharpening her skills and her momentum ahead of her rematch with Tenille Dashwood. She gets the win with a double stomp followed by a moonsault. And after the match, Tenille is on the satellite, appears on via satellite on the Titantron, and she has a few choice words to say for Mayu, and we know that match is happening at the Bash. Next we have a promo video showing Raven passing on his knowledge and teaching Lash Legend some new wrestling moves, and that gets a 97%. Next, we have a 3-star match between Natsu Sumayer and TNA's Lei Ying Lee, who WCW has a working relationship now with TNA, and we can call upon some of their stars to give a good match with some of our stars. And Lei Ying picks up the win, and after the match, Natsu, who is a heel and not a very good loser, throws glitter in her face and storms off. And what the commentary team has to say is that Sumaira's theatrics never end quietly. And we go to the next segment, which is Mercedes being interviewed about her upcoming match with Becky for the championship. And Mercedes says she doesn't chase legacy, she eclipses them. And the commentary team really afterwards sets the stage for the match. And we pan back and we see Britt Baker, who is another one of the challengers for Becky's title, standing there with her fist clenched in gorilla position. We go to commercial break, an advertisement for the latest set of trading cards, and the advertisement gets a 85%. We have a tag team match. They tried to steal the show but couldn't quite do it. It was a 2-star match, 67% overall. 2 members of Top Flight against 2 members of Dead Man's Hand ahead of the feud-ending War Games on Saturday. Next we cut to backstage, where the stable of Divine Desires, Brandy Lauren, Isla Dawn, and Cerie are standing and giving a promo about their takeover of the women's division, and they're saying that at the Bash we paint the beach red with blood and bury our opponents in sand. And we see the new alliance of Bobby Tyler, Britt Baker, and Rosemary in a stare down with them afterwards. And we go to the ring. This gets a 79% segment score. We go to the ring where Samoa Joe is facing Moose. And it's an 85% crowd response. Only 1.5 star match for a 76% overall match score. Joe chokes him out with the Kikina clutch after Alex Kane jumps the barricade and smacks Moose with the cane while the referee's back is turned to further their feud. Next we have, and after the match, U.S. champion Konosuke Takeshita walks out onto the stage and stares silently at Samoa Joe before heading back into the back. On his way through the back, he's stopped by Shane McMahon, who has a couple of questions for him. And Konosuke speaks slowly and deliberately, saying Joe's name brings fear, but at the Bash I bring facts. The facts of my speed, my precision, and my edge. And we have a cutaway shot of Joe watching, unamused, and the commentary team, when we go back to ringside, hypes up Joe's brutality and Takeshita's intensity. And that gets a 75% segment score. Next we have another Lash Legend match. And yeah, the crowd doesn't seem to have much for the women's division unless they're really big stars. We've got to figure out how to work on that. 1-star match because it was basically a glorified squash match. Lash gets the win with a really brutal spin out slam, and 42% final score for the match. And the commentary says basically, Raven's prophecy may be self fulfilling. And we cut to a really long video about the Bash at the Beach, the history of the show, the people who've competed in the past, the people who are going to be competing in it this coming Saturday, and we run down the main feuds. Simon Miller versus CJ Perry, Joe Hendry versus Nick Nemeth, Adam Page versus EC3, and Becky and Mercedes, Mayu and Tenille, TJP and Malachi Black, the Party Idols and the Beautiful Disasters, the Hardys and the New Legacy, Top Flight and Dead Man's Hand, and yeah, that gets a 100% score. Next we go to the ring, and Macy Australia had requested a match against Liv Morgan, and she's getting that this week. The crowd was decently into it, 69% crowd reaction, 2.5 star match for a 69% match score. Liv did pick up the win. And for our main event, we have Trish Stratus against Tessa Blanchard. And this time the people involved in the match actually had the ability to steal the show, and they did so. Trish picked up the win. It says the match was good, but could have been better with a little more time. So we might have to run that back in the future. But it's a 3.5 star quality match and an 83% match score. So we end the week with popularity gained everywhere and a market improvement over our previous week's Thunder. 10% improvement. This is now an 87% compared to the last Thunder episode, which was 77%. We move on ahead to Friday, and we see if there's anybody we might want to try to hire, or anything interesting coming up in the news. Oh, Jey Uso is up for... I want him working for us. I want Jey Uso working for us. Okay, our promise to Macy succeeded. We made our standard $363,000 from Amazon Prime, and we're hovering around 2,670,000 viewers for both shows. We sold 15,347 tickets. That's the most tickets we've sold for a weekly show yet. After the gate share cost, we had $878,000 in ticket sales. Okay, let us steal Jey Uso away from WWE. Gotta get him. Gotta get him. Okay, let's make it a 3-year contract. Let's make it 60,000 per appearance. Signing bonus of wait, is this a signing bonus or the monthly? This is the signing bonus, okay. Let's give him 450,000 to sign for us. Oh man. Main event face, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. What kind of gimmick can we give him? He's a high-flying type of wrestler. I'm going... Okay. Highlight reel. Let's make him a human highlight reel. Main event face. He'll consider our offer and let us know in the coming days. I hope he doesn't re-sign with WWE. I hope we can get him. Maybe I should have offered him $70,000 an appearance. The offer's made. Okay. Let's move ahead one day. See what pops up in our mail. And after that, we'll end the episode. Okay. All right. Is there anybody else we want to try to hire? No. Okay. Well, with that, we are going to close out the game. We are going to end the episode. I thank you again for the time you spend with me. I appreciate you all very much. I love every one of you. You mean the absolute world to me. Your kindness and support and love is something I treasure. Take my love with you everywhere you go. I will see you again very soon. And remember to always be good to each other. It's the highest calling in all the world. Show each other kindness, compassion, mercy, and love. And I'll see you again very, very soon.